Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match, Alexander Zverev versus Jannik Sinner, Monte Carlo 2022 quarterfinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Fantastic match. Zverev takes it. Third set tiebreak. Sinner had a lead in the tiebreak as well. Jannik won the first set, which was also tight. Zverev took the second. Great match for Zverev. His best performance since the first week of the season. Looked good at ATP Cup. Beat Cam Norrie. Beat Taylor Fritz. Lost to Felix. But ever since then, ever since losing to Shapovalov at the Australian Open in his first difficult test in Melbourne, Zverev hasn't really picked up a quality victory. Losing to Tommy Paul at Indian Wells, losing to Casper Ruud in Miami, losing to Alexander Bublik in the Montpellier final. But he picked up his first top 20 win since the first week of the season against Pablo Carreño Busta in the first round. And now this was a pretty classic Zverev performance, even in some of the things he didn't do so well, like getting broken serving for the match after losing some patience in that game. But ultimately, I do want to say also some words about Jannik Sinner, because in the last month, the resolve, the heart, the grit that he's shown, unbelievable. He has really turned into a monster competitor before our eyes, which he was not when he first got on tour. But when you look at some of the performances, sick as a dog against Benjamin Bonzi at Indian Wells, comes back from a set down. Then in Miami, saves match points against Ruusuvuori, saves 5 match points against Carreño Busta, 7-0 in deciding sets in 2022, 7-0 in tiebreaks in 2022. Both of those records end with that final set tiebreak loss to Alexander Zverev. But he has been banged up physically, had to miss Rotterdam because of COVID, had to withdraw from Indian Wells with the illness that I mentioned against Bonzi, developed foot blisters in Miami, fought through those, ultimately had to retire in his match in Miami because of the blisters, and still was having issues with the blisters in this tournament. Took a medical timeout in the previous match and looked like he was fighting through the pain in this match, taking his shoes off at the changeovers, limping in between points, but just giving it 100% effort and still able to move and run pretty well, just fighting through the pain like an absolute animal. And I've been so encouraged from what I've seen in the last month from Jannik Sinner, not because he's playing his best, because the competitor that I'm seeing in him is something that is going to take him very, very far. Beyond any of the amazing talent that he has with the tennis racket, he's really showing that up in the mind, he is at a very, very high level, and he is going to compete and fight with the best of them. Amazing to see. Now, getting into the tactics of this match and what decided it, there were a lot of fluctuations, a lot of momentum swings, a lot of moments you can circle, but by the end of the match, it was pretty much Zverev's defense against Sinner's power baseline play. Sinner taking more risk, more initiative in baseline rallies, and Sinner and Zverev returning so well that this match was really going to be won or lost with who was winning the rallies, especially down the stretch of this match. You had rally after rally after rally, so much play from neutral, and mostly, especially towards the end of the tiebreak, mostly Zverev dropping back far behind the baseline and defending, while Sinner fires away, blow after blow, trying to get through Zverev's defenses with his power baseline play. And ultimately, as the temperatures dropped and the sun lowered in the sky in Monte Carlo, and I think the conditions slowed quite significantly, it was going to be super, super hard to get a ball by Zverev. And Sinner was able to do it sometimes, but boy, Zverev was asking a lot of his opponent with the way he was covering the court. And again, I mean, Sinner was doing everything he could off of both wings to try to find a way through Zverev, but it had to be so good. And more often than not, and when the chips were down at the end of the tiebreak, Zverev's defense was extending rallies into Sinner unforced errors. And we had some key misses at the end of the towards the end of the tiebreak. Sinner was able to build a 4-3 lead, up a mini break at 4-3. Hits a +1 forehand that clips the top of the net tape and falls on Sinner's side of the court for an unforced error. 4-all, backhand to backhand rally. Sinner tries to change direction down the line, hits the tape again, unforced error, Sinner. Then we go to 5-4. Sinner plays a great point here. Then at 5-all, Sinner, tons of defense by Zverev, defend. Sinner misses a mid-court inside-out forehand, or not mid-court, but inside the baseline, inside-out forehand, wild, tough miss, and then backhand unforced error on match point. So that is 4 unforced errors there that represented the final 4 points that Zverev won in this match, all Sinner errors. So I just felt like, first of all, kudos to Zverev. On a court this slow, with the way he moves and defends and how consistent he is, it's very difficult to deal with. And again, when people are like, I'm not seeing it with Zverev, what is so good about him besides his first serve? You got to understand he's covering the court incredibly well and he's never missing. I mean, he's an unbelievably skilled grinder, even though his serve and his height can kind of blind or can kind of make it difficult to see that. And his power can make it difficult to see that. Ultimately, he is a grinder, and he was grinding in this match. So from Sinner's perspective, it felt like it would have been so much easier for him if he had a drop shot and a transition game. We know, if he just had some extra tools to finish points, because we know, Zverev's court position, way back behind the baseline, 10 feet behind the baseline to maximize his court coverage. That's why Sinner's linear power, combined with the conditions, was not working. Zverev's pace absorption, the conditions, his court positioning, all signs pointing to drop shot. Sinner just doesn't have that, wasn't going to it, wasn't trying it. It felt like that could have been the tool that he used to finish points and get through Zverev's defenses, or an ability to come forward, make Zverev pay for his court position and finish points up at net. Sinner was not. He was relying on his power baseline game, trying to finish from the back of the court, and it was ultimately too difficult a task. Zverev did have moments, however, where his forehand clicked. I don't want to say it was all defense. I thought that Zverev, when the opportunity presented itself, he was offensive in this match. He just wasn't forcing anything. He was very happy to stay at neutral. However, I think that he did what he had to do offensively at times. And if you look at in the third set, when he got the first break of serve at 1-all, that was shades of 2021 Olympic Zverev. Amazing game from Zverev. Now, he handed the momentum right back with a absolutely bizarre and terrible decision to serve underhand on, up game point at 2-1 to try to consolidate the break. Completely shifted the momentum of the match. Too many serve and volleys in that game as well. Brain cramps. And then at 5-4, you saw his patience kind of wane, and the solid consistency that he was showing throughout the match kind of went away for a moment there because of the nerves. So there were some fluctuations, as I mentioned. I will say that Zverev was better backhand to backhand. I prefer Zverev on the backhand to Sinner. Now, Sinner is used to having the backhand advantage against 95, 99 maybe percent of righties. He doesn't have it against Sinner, and I felt like he should have rallied more to Zverev's forehand. I do prefer Sinner's on-the-run forehand to Zverev's. I prefer Sinner's cross-court forehand to Zverev's. I think it's better. But backhand to backhand, I think Zverev's more comfortable going down the line, and I think he's more solid. So I felt like the fact that so many of these points were being played backhand to backhand. Was Sinner winning some of them? Yes, but I felt like Zverev was edging Sinner out in that pattern, and Sinner was too happy to stay in that pattern. I could also shout out 2-all in the tiebreak. Was a tremendous backhand down the line, incredible backhand down the line by Zverev, winning that backhand to backhand pattern. So that's one adjustment that I would make for Sinner, and also props to Zverev. You know, the backhand is, of course, just world class in every way. And I want to end on a tactical thing. Sinner finding some magic in the first set by mixing up his return position. He was receiving the second serve from a deep return position throughout the entire set, and then at 5-all, under pressure, 2 key points, he moved up, and both times he got double faults. Well, this is a tactic that Tommy Paul used at Indian Wells to beat Zverev. It's a tactic that really works very well against Alexander Zverev, because you force him to go big on the second serve, and you make him feel like he can't hit safe, he can't roll it in, and you give him a different look. Most importantly, you make him think before he hits that second serve, and the more Zverev thinks, the more likely he is to double fault. Well, the next big point came at 2-all in the second set, and Sinner had a break chance to go up a set in a break. He stayed back. I thought that was really bizarre. It worked in the first set when he moved up. Why did he stay back? And was that the moment where Sinner missed his chance to deploy the tactic that worked brilliantly, instead staying back, losing the break point, and then playing a terrible service game in the second set at 3-4, just blowing an easy volley at 30-all, backhand unforced error at 30-40, emotional letdown really after missing the chances. And then that's where Zverev started to get in the groove and started to play his best level. So I circle that moment early in the second set. Of course, that 3-4 game where Sinner missed the easy volley, just some moments that turned what could have been a straight set Sinner victory into more of a dogfight, and the back and forth match that it became. Obviously, really good effort from both, and a fantastic match for Sinner. It's about his body starting to cooperate so that he can kind of play with 100% health moving forward. Cutting down on the 3-setters, he's played way too many, and that is part of why his body was going to break down on him. It never felt like he could have won the title here. It just felt like it was too much physically. And for Zverev, could be kind of a reset and a turning point in 2022, I think, this match. However, he still showed mental frailties at certain points in this match, and as long as that continues to show up, you're kind of concerned about what Zverev's ceiling might be. But he did play the best tennis of 2022 since the first week of the season and continues to do so at Monte Carlo. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.